there? Mic's too far. Jai Shri Nitai Gaura Shitanata Pramanandi Hari Hari Bom. Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chandra Shushitala Koti Chandra Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chandra Shushitala Koti Chandra Shushitala Jai Chaya Jagata Judai Jai Chai Jagata Judai Hananitai Vinibhai Radha Krishna Paitenai Radha Krishna Paitenai Hananitai Vinibhai Radha Krishna Paitenai Radha Krishna Paitenai Dridha Kori Dhara Nitai Pai Dhara Nitai Pai Dridha Kori Dhara Nitai Pai Dhara Shesham Bandha Nahi Ja Brita Janma Gelota Nahi Ja Brita Janma Gelota She Poshu Boro Duracha She Poshu Boro Duracha Nitai na bolilo mukhe Majilo shangsha shukhe Majilo shangsha shukhe Nitai na bolilo mukhe Majilo shangsha shukhe Majilo shangsha Vidya Kule Ki Kori Beta বিদ্যা খুলে কি করে বেতা অহংকার মত হইয়া নিতাই পদ পশরিয়া অহংকার মত হইয়া নিতাই পদ সত্যের সত্য করি মানি असत्येर सत्ता कोरि माने निताये कोरुण होबे ब्रजे राधा कृष्ण पाबे নিতায়ে করুণ হবে ব্রজে রাধা কৃষ্ণ পাবে ব্রজে রাধা কৃষ্ণ পাবে ধরণীত চরণ ধুইখানে ধরণী তাই চরণ ধুইকানি নিতায় চরণ সত তাহার সেবক নিত তাহার সেবক নিত নিতায় পদ সদ্য কর আশা নিতায় পদ সদা কর আশা নরতম বড় দুঃখী নিতাই মোরে কর সুখী নিতাই মোরে কর সুখী নরতম বড় দুঃখী নিতাই মোরে কর সুখে রাগ রঙ্গ চরণের পাশ রাগ রঙ্গ চরণের পাশ জয়ং বিষ্ণুপাদ পরমহংস পরিব্রজকাচার্য অষ্টদার সুষমার সব অভয় চরণারবিন্দ ভক্তি বেদান্ত স্বামী সুপপার কি ISKCON Protestant Acharya Shri Prabhupada ki Samaveta Gaur Bhaktavinda ki Shishi Nitai Gau Shitanar Pramanandi Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila Madhya Lila text chapter 1. Put it there. Madhya Lila, chapter 1, text 163. Mandeyaham Shri Guru Shri Jitapara Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Shakarajatam Sahagaram Raghunatam Vitam Tang Shajivam Shadvaitam Shavadutam Parijana Shaitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Ladita Shibishakam Vidangshta Mantra Guru Ajo Tashika Guru Ganta Chodane Yage Kori Abandon Banshakal Patrubi Eshtakripa Shindaba Bacha Potitanam Pavaneba Vaishnava Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaudavani Pachane Nirvishesha Shandabari Prishtatade Shatadane Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jaya Taita Chandra Jai Gaud Bhakta Vrinda Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Text 163. Yeah. Goshai Kulia Hoite Cholila Brindabon. Goshai Kulia Hoite Cholila Brindabon Shange Sahasrek Lok Jota Bhaktagon Goshai Kulia Hoite Cholila Brindabon Shange Sahasrek Lok Jota Bhaktagon Goshai Kulia Hoite Cholila Brindabon Shange Sahasrek Lok Jotto Bhaktagon Ladies? Goshai, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Kulia Hoite, from Kulia, Cholila, proceeded, Vrindavan, toward Vrindavan, Shangai, with him, Sahasrek, thousands, Lok of people, Jota, all Bhaktagan, devotees. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to proceed from Kulia toward Vrindavan, thousands of men were with him, and all of them were devotees. Repeat. Translation, repeat. Read. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to proceed from Kulia toward Vrindavan, thousands of men were with him. All of them were devotees. Mukham Kardi Bachalam Pangam Langa Tekirim Chakrapatamaham Bandai Shri Gurum Dinadarinam. What was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doing in Kulia? Where is Kulia? What was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doing in Kulia? When did this happen? These are questions that we have to discuss. Having accepted sannyas, we were discussing yesterday in Abid's temple. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted sannyas, actually not required. Sannyas not required. Kiba Bipra, Kiba Nashi, Shudra Keni Noi. Kiba Bipra, maybe a Brahmin. Kiba Nashi, maybe a sannyasi. Shudra Keni Noi. Why not a Sudra? Jai Krishna Tattva Veta, Shai Guru Hoi. One who Krishna Tattva Veta knows the science of Krishna, Shai Guru Hoi, can become spiritual master. In our Krishna consciousness movement, ashram, external. Shri Thakur one day in 1919 sat down in front of the picture of Gokeshwar Das Babaji Maharaj, and he awarded himself sannyas, and he awarded himself the Brahman thread. You see, Thakur Bhaktivinoda is not wearing the Brahman thread, and Gokeshwar Das Babaji, they're not wearing the Brahman thread. Although they were chanting mantra, they had Diksha mantra. They were Diksha mantra. In Bengal and the Sampradayas, a Diksha, but not with Brahman thread, but the Diksha mantra, chanted on the fingers. They're chanting the Diksha mantra, but not in the social position of Brahman, which is indicated by the Brahman thread, is visible to others. Social position, Sridhanta Saraswati Thakur, he integrated the Varnashram Dharma in order to organize his mission. Thakur Bhaktivinoda did not have organized mission. He had organized mission, but he didn't have assets and properties. Like Sridhanta Saraswati Thakur, who established temples and established an institute, registered, Gaudiya Math, registered with the government, registered. Thakur Bhaktivinoda's mission was education, literature, publication, Namhatta preaching throughout Bengal villages. But Namhatta preaching means no assets and properties. Your temple, your home is the temple. Your home becomes a temple for some period during the week or fortnightly. Namhatta prachar. So therefore, that's the only reason we have Brahmin threads, is to organize the temples, worship, priests. Otherwise the common people will not understand. Pujaris are not Brahmins. So we can Vaishnav is beyond the Brahmin. So therefore not necessary, but can wear for the preaching. And sannyas, you see the pictures of Saraswati Thakur in suit and coat. In a suit, long, nice tailored suit and shoes. That's not acceptable in the sannyas. Not acceptable. But he'll wear any dress. He'll wear any dress for the preaching. So similarly, Gauranga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he decided to accept the sannyas. He decided. He's discussing with Nityananda Prabhu. After the incident was there, when we won't go into detail, but he was threatened. Gauranga was threatened by the students of Navadip. He was threatened. And the student came running, "Oh, brothers, what happened? Oh, that Nimai. I heard he was a pious person. And I went and visited, he's chanting Gopi, Gopi, Gopi. Ekdin. Gopi, Gopi, Vrindavan, Gopi, Gopi, Bole Nirantor, Ekdin. Jagatishar, Bole Nirantor, Vrindavan, Gopi, Gopi, Bole Nirantor, Gopi, Gopi, Vrindavan. Mahaprabhu is in the mood of having received the mantra from Ishwarapuri, meditating, the Diksha mantra. Mahaprabhu received a 10-syllable Diksha mantra from Ishwarapuri, 10-syllable. But which mantra? Not exactly clear. The different mantras are there. These and Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, this Bij mantra, Mool mantra of the deities of Gauranga, of Radha Krishna, these are the Diksha mantras. Gauranga received 10-syllable Diksha mantra. We're chanting the 24-syllable Kama Gayatri mantra, an 18-syllable Krishna Gopal mantra. Mahaprabhu received 10-syllable mantra. However, he didn't initiate anyone in that mantra. We'll be hearing a little later this morning his arrival in Ramkeli, his initiation of Rupa and Sanatan, but not mantra. And then when that student tried to correct, Vishwambar, why are you chanting Gopi Gopi? You should chant the name of Krishna. In the scripture it declares, it's very pious. Shrinvatam Svakata Krishna Punna Srabona Kirtana. It's Punnaban, it's full of piety. Why are you not chanting the name of Krishna? We've never heard of this chanting Gopi Gopi Vrindavan. And Mahaprabhu, you mention the name of the debauchee, Krishna. You say his name to me. He's in the mood of the gopis. You mention that debauchee Krishna, what he does, how he treats the women. He's a debauchee. And then he picked up a stick and he's chasing that student. That student fled for his very life. And he reached the other student and said, brother, what happened? Oh, you won't believe what happened. I cannot repeat what he said. The offenses that came out of his mouth. I cannot. Oh, who does he think he is? We were all together in the Gurukul studying. Gangadas Pandit had thousands of students. Gangadas Pandit, thousands of students. Nabadipe, Ache, Oddapak Shiromani. Oddapak Shiromani, the jewel, the crushed jewel. Shiromani, the jewel on the head of the professors, of Navadip scholars. Navadip Ache, Oddapak Shiromani. Gangadas Pandit, Heno Shandipani. Shandipani Muni appeared just to become Gaudanga's teacher. We are all students together in the Gurukul. Who does he think he is? He's become the master, ordering us, threatening us. If he attempts such behavior again, certainly we will give him a good thrashing. Even now in Bengal, this is the system of justice is very immediate. No need for pending cases, just on the spot, a thrashing. Maybe in other places in India this system also exists. So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, suddenly he said to the devotees that the medicine, Pipalakanda, the Ayurvedic medicine, it's meant to reduce bile, is having the opposite effect. And the devotees, what? Pipalakanda, bile? What Mahaprabhu's talking, what's he saying? No. Enigmatic. Only Nityananda Prabhu could understand. Oh, Prabhu will leave us and take sannyas. And he's explaining to Nityananda Prabhu, Tobe more dekhe, when they see me, more dekhe, shai dori bechoron, they will fall down and clasp my feet. In this way, I will deliver Shakal Bhuban, the entire universe. The atheists, the materialists, the scholars, the smarters, however, they're not chanting Krishna's name and dancing in ecstasy with us. This morning hearing Shachinanda and Hari Prabhu's Guru Puja Kirtan, I was performing the arti, I had to constrain myself. And as soon as the arti was completed, then I couldn't restrain myself anymore. Enlivened us with the Shankirtan. Because you're seasoned Sankirtan devotees, seasoned Sankirtan on the streets. This is the Jagya for the age, on the street. On the street. The Sankirtan. Gaudhari, he appears there. Yatra Gayanti Mad Bhakta, Tatra Tishna Minarta. On the street. That's where you get the special mercy. When I joined the temple, there was one great soul, like Mahabhagavat. He's famous devotee, he's named Korma. He's Korma. He had a big influence on me. When I joined Melbourne Mahaprabhu Mandir, temple, Prabhupada's temple. It was only a few years from Prabhupada's departure, it was 7 years. I joined in 1985, 7 years after Prabhupada, 8 years after Prabhupada had left. And it was just like 8 years goes quick. You've probably all been devotees more than 8 years. So just imagine it. The mood of Prabhupada was very strong. And Kurma Prabhu, he was such a, even the one time, one story that all devotees went to Melbourne town hall. Prabhupada was giving program. Kurma, he was the pujari. He joined when he was 16 years old. He was pujari. He's worshipping Radha Bala. Prabhupada installed Radha Krishna. He's doing a Sandhya Arati. All devotees had gone to the temple, and later Prabhupada, his servant, was bringing him the vehicle. Prabhupada, just before going to the program, took darshan. It was Arati time. Kurma was offering Arati. He was chanting, Jayo, Jayo, Gauda Chan. He didn't know he didn't know Prabhupada came into the temple room. And Prabhupada was taking darshan, and Kurma was doing the Arati, and he's chanting, Jayo, Jayo, Gauda Chandra. And Prabhupada's watching. And Prabhupada turns to the servant and said, Kurma Dev. Kurma Dev. Yeah, and he would cook. He would cook for Prabhupada. And one day he cooked puris. And the servant was serving Prabhupada, was taking the puris. He said, Prabhupada said, who made the puris? the servant didn't know. He said, I'll find out, Prabhupada. And Prabhupada said, the one who has made the puris, he is following my instructions perfectly. So Kurma Prabhu, he would do the kirtan, he would perform the kirtan. It's such ecstatic kirtan. I still can see him. The mridanga, we learned a little mridanga from Kurma Prabhu, the style, but I still can see him on the Gaurapanima day, the ecstasy of him chanting, Gauda, Gauda, Gauda Hare, Gauda. He had, on the streets, he had done the Sankirtan on the streets. In those days when the movement began, there was no restaurants, the Food for Life, and this program, college program, this program. There was no program. There was temple and Sankirtan. And everyone on Sankirtan, and Sankirtan with the Sankirtan party, the Kirtan party, and there's magazine distribution, and some book distribution with the Sankirtan party. All day, every day, from 9 a.m. in the morning till 6, 7 p.m. at night. Sankirtan all day. If that doesn't burn up your material desires, 6, 7 hours Sankirtan on the street every day. And actually there was only a handful of devotees. There was a handful. In Melbourne, probably 10, 15 devotees. Ramai Swami, he joined in Melbourne. He went to the same college I went to. He joined from there, Ramai Swami. All day, only 10, 15 devotees. But the whole of the nation, it attracted the attention of the whole of the nation. Amazing. Hare Krishna movement was famous even in the 80s when I joined. The Hare Krishna movement is famous. Everybody knew in the whole country, and there was less than 100 devotees. Less than 100 devotees in the whole nation, but everyone knew. Because they're on the street all day doing Sankirtan. Not such a big city. How many people in Hyderabad? Population? 10 million. 10 million. Yeah. Melbourne Melbourne is maybe 500,000 people at that time. Not 500,000. Small city. In Australia, that's half of Australian population. In Hyderabad, half of a population of Australia. It's 20 million people in Australia. So because the whole country knew about the devotees, and then they were arrested, put in the jail. It's written in Chaitanya Charitamrita, "O respected Vaishnav Mandali, let me ask you, amongst this exalted assembly, how many of you, the city of your birth is mentioned in Prabhupada's books? How many? Raise hands." Mumbai. Those of you born in Mumbai, yes, Mumbai. And Melbourne. Prabhupada mentions Chaitanya Charitamrita in the Chankazi Lila, where the magistrate is persecuting the devotees. And Prabhupada says, our devotees are similarly being persecuted in Melbourne, Australia. What can we say? More than What more can we say than His Divine Grace blessed the Melbourne? His Divine Grace cast His merciful glance on that city. It was in His mind. Even when He was in other places, He was thinking about that place and its welfare. And He sat there on Byasasan after installing Gaurnitai, and He said, the people of Melbourne have become blessed because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared here. And today, by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you are able to see with your own eyes one of those blessed, fortunate people. So Korma Prabhu, the Sankirtan, the purity, he would do the Sankirtan, he would cook. He would come into the temple after, I remember one time, Gaurapanima, myself, Korma Prabhu, and one other brahmachari and myself, we cooked whole feast, Ekadashi day, we were fasting. Korma came into the temple room after Mangaladi. He used to come in with his apron, right? Kitchen apron. He'd come into the temple after Mangalati, kitchen apron, with a clipboard, with all the items. 15, 16 items on the clipboard, and he'd come into the temple room, and he would just recruit assistants. But it was a great honor. So the experiences I had of associating with that great soul. He taught me how to cook sweet rice, big pot of sweet rice. There's other stories too. One time, the sweet rice. Now that we're on the topic, as long as it's about Krishna and His devotees. He'd cooked, it was a big feast. This is not the Ekadasi feast. I'll come back to Gaurapanima feast. This is another time. He'd cook days in advance. It's devotion. It's for Krishna. There's no limit. That's what I learned from Konra Baba. There's no limit to to the opulence with which the deity should be worshipped. There is no limit. There is no above limit to the opulence with which the deity should be worshipped, as much as you can. And that glorious, opulent worship of the deity, that will make us perfect and prosperous in every way. Make the deity beautiful or gorgeous, opulent worship of the deity. No limit. I learned from Korma. Days in advance he would be preparing, going to the market, selecting ingredients. We are Mayavadis. We don't care about these things. I don't offer anything. No. We're trying to gradually become purified by association of the sadhus, of the satsanga. And he'd cook sweet rice, special sweet rice. He cooked it himself. big pot, 50 liters sweet rice. But he cooked it in a pot there on the side. On one side, one handle was missing. On the other side, there was handle. And he cooked it and put it under the stove just for gradually cooling. And then we were there in the kitchen, making many items, cutting. And then he said, okay, Atul, you take that sweet rice and put it in the cool room. But be careful, handle is broken. Yes, Prabhu, yes, Prabhu. So I grabbed my assistant, my new bhakta, who we had preached to and made a devotee. We grabbed him and I said, okay, you take the side there without the handle, and I'll take them. And gradually we move. And then the kitchen had steps, boom, boom, steps like that going down from the kitchen outside to the outside area of the cool room. When we get to the steps, I'm holding my side. And one step, okay, next step, and then I see zoom, the pot slips out of his hand. It was like everything went slow motion. Like slow motion. You know, in the movie sometimes slow motion. Right? Like that. And I saw the pot, it went slip, and then boom on the step, a little bit like 8 inches at, next step, boom. And then I watched every action has a equal reaction. When bang, I heard the sound bang, and then I'm watching, and then the street just like a wave, just like out and a splatter all over the steps. And Boga, and then that assistant who was with me, he just ran. He ran out of the temple. He just ran. It was several hours before we saw him again.
He couldn't face the idea of turning around and saying to Korma, well, we dropped this. I had to do it. Gentlemen, there's some things in life that it is just unavoidable. And I just turned to Korma and I went back in the kitchen and he looked and I said, Korma, we dropped the sweet rice.
Whoa. Talk about fire. So anyway, the point I'm making about it is the Sankirtan, the Sankirtan, on the street, the Sankirtan, chanting on the street. That will purify you. That will take you back to Godhead. That will attract the attention of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on the street, the Sankirtan. So Mahaprabhu is explaining to Nityananda Prabhu that they will see me, they will fall down. No. And this way, Emoto udharibo shakal bhuban, I will deliver the entire universe by accepting sannyas. And then Mahaprabhu, he accepted sannyas, went to Katwa. You can go and see the Chul Shamadhi. Mahaprabhu, the beautiful, we're worshipping with the beautiful, Mahaprabhu's beautiful long black hair tied in a knot at the top, cascading over his broad shoulders as he's dancing to and fro with it. Mukunda Madhava. What is that? Bhakata Shamoha Laila Shatagilo Nagara Braje. Tatai Bhajalo Kol. Tatai Bhajala Kol. It's called Kol in Bengal, called Kol. Mridanga actually is the South Indian, that's Mridanga, or Sanskrit, it's Kol. Tatai Bhajalo Kol. Thakur Bhaktivinoda, his poetry, the words reflect the sound. Tatai Bhajalo Kol. Gana Tahe Jajero Roll. The kartals are ringing, the mridanga is tapping. Tatai bhajalo kol, gana tahe jajero, preme dala, quivering, dala, preme with love, preme dala, shonara anga. His shonara anga, his golden limbs are quivering with love of Godhead. Chodane nupura bhaje, the nupur. As he's dancing, ching 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 ching, Mukunda Madhava Yadava Hari Boleno Bolo de Bodhana Boni. This is Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan in Navadip, the beautiful, his long black hair cascading over his broad chest like a lion, his neck like a lion, his chest like an elephant. His long blackish hair cascading as he's dancing. We're worshipping Gaushunda in that way. Actually, we don't worship Gaushunda in the form of a sannyasi. We worship in the Nitya Lila. And then wandering, after accepting sannyas and wandering, he left, wandered alone. Mahaprabhu wandering alone, sannyas. You go, everybody, wandering alone as a sannyasi in the Radha Desh. And Nityananda Prabhu, devotee care. How is possible? The Navadip Basis, how will they tolerate? Just like that, he's taking sannyas. And when Sachimata came and saw him, first thing she said, do not do like Vishwarup, who never again gave us any news. So Nitai Goshai, he told the cowherd boys on the bank of the Ganga, when you see the sannyasi mad with love of Godhead, searching for Vrindavan, you direct him to the banks of the Ganga. Mahaprabhu, he saw those boys and he said, where is Vrindavan? And they said, here is Jamuna. Mahaprabhu running, jumped in. Just imagine, actually Ganga, in Bengal Bhumi, Katwa to Mayapur to Panihati, Ganga, you can recognize. Ma Ganga ki. They recognize the beautiful Ma Ganga. Same Ganga. The Gawal boy said it's Jamuna. Mahaprabhu has Jamuna. He's thinking it's Jamuna. He's thinking he's in Vrindavan, in love of God. Jumps in, floats down, comes to Shantipur. He's floating down in the Ganga, floating. Not that we recommend you imitate this. There's bamboo barrier. You're not allowed to. There's even speaker, constant loudspeaker. Don't go across the bamboo barrier. In many languages, it's going constantly being broadcast. Sometimes we go out a little bit. Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, he used to swim across. He used to swim across Ganga. Mahaprabhu jumped in. He's floating down the middle of Ganga, all the way, several hours, to Shantipur, and there he sees Advaita Thakur on the banks of the Ganga. Oh, Advaita Goshai, you have also come to Vrindavan. Wherever you are, that is Vrindavan. Nityananda has cheated me. No, this is also Jamuna. This is also Jamuna. At the Triveni, Shangam in Mayapur. Mayapur is Ma Ganga, Bhagirati Ganga, is Saraswati Devi, and is Jamuna, all flowing. And then for 10 days, the devotees were able to associate the Sankirtan Mahotshav. That means that during the day there was discussion, Krishna Kathar, and cooking. Sachimata, she was cooking every day. Advaita Thakur, all of the Navadip Basis came, except one person, Vishnupriya. Everyone else came. Not Vishnupriya. She never again was given the audience of Gauranga. And all of the Shantipur residents also, thousands, tens of thousands of people came. And they were all hosted by Advaita Thakur, prasadam, arrangements, resting, rooms. In fact, on another occasion in Shantipur, we were reading on Shivratri, how when Mahaprabhu came back from this tour, hopefully one day we'll get to Rupshika. We never seem to get there. But after meeting Rupa and Sanatan in Ramkeli, Mahaprabhu was coming back, and again he stopped in Shantipur, and again Advaita Thakur arranged a feast. And Mahaprabhu's going and he's wandering around, and he's seeing the arrangement, the Advaita Thakur, rooms and rooms, 4 or 5 rooms of eggplant, vegetables, potol, bagon, rooms and rooms full. 3 or 4 rooms full of leaf plates and clay cups. Rooms and rooms full of chow and dal. Rooms and rooms full of banana for doodh and dahi. Mahaprabhu is astonished. And he says that I am sure that Advaita Thakur, he is an incarnation of Lord Shiva. How could such an arrangement be managed by any ordinary person? He is an incarnation of Lord Shiva, Advaita Thakur. Because of this comment of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on that occasion in Shantipur, described in Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, Anta Khanda, chapter 5, is described. Because of that statement, then we worship Advaita Thakur as we consider him incarnation of Sadashiva and Mahavishnu. So then in Shantipur, Mahaprabhu was performing the kirtan in the evening and dancing with Nityananda Prabhu. Kirtan korite Prabhu, Sharbabab udoi, Stamba kampa pulakashru, Gadgada pralai. Kaviraj Goswami is describing the kirtans at that time in Shantipur. Kirtan korite Prabhu, when the sound of kirtan, when he heard the sound of the kirtan, Sharva bhab udoi, all of the manifestations of bhab, of love of Godhead, udoi, they erupted in his body. Stamba, kampa, pulakasru. Stamba, he became stunned like a pillar. Kampa, his body is quivering. Kampa, pulakasru. His hair is goosebumps, his hair is standing on end like a ripened jackfruit. Pulakasru, Gadgada. His throat became choked up, Gadgada. Pralay, devastation. Devastation in the kirtan. Devastation. And then they were discussing, so you go to Vrindavan, and then Sachimata is saying, no, it was such a long way, Vrindavan. Mahaprabhu was meditating on desiring to go to Vrindavan, even at the time of taking initiation, which was 6 years earlier in Gaya. 6 years earlier. 4, 5, 6 years, something like that. Around 17, 18, 19 years old, Mahaprabhu went to Gaya and took initiation. And then at 24 years old, he accepted sannyas. So even in Gaya, he, after receiving that Dikha mantra from Ishvara Puri Prabhupada, Goshundor, he left, he began his journey for Vrindavan. And the Akashvani, the instructions in the sky, from the unembodied voice from the sky, no, now is not the time to go to Vrindavan. Mahaprabhu, oh, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Huh? He's so much absorbed in prema, in Radha Bhav, he doesn't even remember that he's Krishna. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you have a mission. You're reminded, we have to remind you. So many things have to be done in Mayapur. Establish the Panchatattva, deliver Jagai Madhai, deliver the Chankasi, inaugurate, order Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur to go door to door. All of these things you cannot go to Vrindavan now. Later you can go to Vrindavan. But Mahaprabhu always meditating on Vrindavan. And then when he took sannyas, okay, now he began again Vrindavan. And Nityananda Prabhu tricked him, brought him to Shantipur. And the devotees are discussing, so what's next? And Sachimata is saying, no, don't do like Vishwarup, who took sannyas and never again, we didn't hear anything. And she said that Jagannath Puri and Navadip are like 2 rooms in the one house. Oriya, Goriya. Oriya, Goriya. Like 2 rooms in the one house. Even now you see the Oriya Bhaktagon and Goriya Bhaktagon, they're somewhat similar. And the language is similar. Oriya, Mangla, very similar. And the people also, same stature. Oriya and Goriya. And when you go to Jagannath Puri, there's Bengalis everywhere. 90% of the people you'll see in Jagannath Puri, Bengalis. Riding in Bengali, Bengali shops, Bengali market, everywhere. So very close by. Tomra Shab, Pado, Gamon, Agamon. Shachimata says, Tomra Shab, Pado, Gamon, Agamon. You can come and go, all of you can come and go. And in that way, I will hear about him. I will get news. Ganga Shnana, oh, Hobe Tar, Agamon. And he also may come back to take bath in Ganga. And he does. Gauranga again comes back to Gaurmandal Bhumi with his objective to deliver Rupa and Sanatan. And for this reason, Sachimata requests you stay in Jagannath Puri, and Mahaprabhu agrees. And he journeys to Jagannath Puri with Jagadananda Pandit, Nityananda Prabhu, Mukunda Datta, and Damadas Sarup. These 4 persons accompanied Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Jagannath Puri. After delivering Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Sri Gauranga, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he inaugurated his South Indian tour. This land he wandered through. Goshundor, he first went to Kumashtan, where the Kurmadev deity is, and he met the Kurma Brahman, and he instructed him to preach Krishna consciousness. Jari dekho tari kaha, Krishna ubadesh, amara gai guru hao, tara aidesh, you deliver this land, whoever you see, you tell them about Krishna and his instructions found in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, and this way you become a spiritual master and deliver the land, this land that's in Kurmashtan, Andhra Pradesh. After visiting there, that place is very special. We recommend you to visit. It's a remote place, and it's a temple established by Lord Brahma. Since Satya Yuga, Kurma Dev is being worshipped there. How many deities of Kurma Dev are on this planet? How many deities of Kurma Dev have you seen? One I saw, that Kurma Dev is rare. And you see there's a big sign in the front. It's actually during the Mughal expansion and persecution of the Hindus, the temple was, they covered the whole temple in earth. Whole temple covered in earth so that they couldn't even see there was temple there. So it's not so tall, but very ancient, very ancient. And there's a sign in the front there, who's visited that place. Adi Shankar Acharya, Yamuna Acharya, Sri Ramanuja Acharya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur visited that place and installed the Pada Kamal, lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at that place. And when I went there with some devotees, we were in Visakhapatnam, and we went a couple of hours drive. And the priest, it's like you're entering again Satya Yuga. These priests, I think maybe they never even went to Chennai. They're just completely absorbed there in the worship of Kurma Dev. It's a remote place. Not so many people go. And we went, and I went in, and the deity, and the priest, big earrings, beard, and a tilak, Sri Vaishnav, Brahman, Vaishnav, Brahman, and he saw me and he raised his hands and said, Jari dekho tari kaho Krishna upadesh, amara gai guru hao tare desh. He was in great ecstasy to see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission had spread to the foreign countries and the foreigners were coming. So Mahaprabhu, the South Indian tour, actually it's very interesting. It's very interesting because the South India was the place of the holy sites. The Punya Bhumi, Bharat Bhumi, Dokhin Bharat, Trividya Desh. This is the place of the holy sites. And Mahaprabhu went on tour. Of course, he was desiring to go to Vrindavan. He went to Gaya. There's also Tirthastan, Gaya Dham. And he was desiring to go to Vrindavan, but Mahaprabhu, South Indian tour. Because of the holy sites, because of the holy places, because of the worship of Lord Vishnu, which had been conducted for centuries and centuries, and Mahaprabhu as a sannyasi visiting these places for purification. Satjati means they don't stay. They go from one holy place to another. Mahaprabhu toured South India to fulfill the duties of a sannyasi, to visit the holy places and be purified, and take darshan of the Lord as established by the great acharyas and worshipped for centuries and centuries. So we are very fortunate to be able to preach Krishna consciousness in South India, following in the footsteps of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Very fortunate. And after Kumakstan, then Mahaprabhu went to Simachalam, walking, Simachalam. There's many hills in that area. We have our temple, Visakhapatnam, ISKCON. It's ISKCON's largest project in South India. Visakhapatnam, beautiful temple. Actually, we visit, we're teaching Bhakti Shastri there, Visakhapatnam temple. And many hills. Now, the hill there, Simachalam, is Nrsimha Varaha deity. Also, that is the hill where the mercenary assistance of, not merciful, mercenary assistance of Hiranyakashipu threw Prahlad off the mountain. Threw Prahlad off the mountain. That is the place, Simachalam. And Mahaprabhu went there and saw the deity of Varaha Nrsimha, which is every day covered by chandan. And many were thinking it's Shivlinga. But actually it's Varaha Nrsimha Dev, deity, covered in chandan, and only one day in the year you can see the deity. I think on the Vaikuntha Ekadashi, I'm not sure what day. When? Huh?
Akshay Triti, yeah, you see the deity. You went, you saw that day? You seen? So maybe Mahaprabhu, I don't know whether when he was there, but Simachalam. And then so many places and described by Kaviraj Goswami. Andhra, after that he went to Ahovalam. This is in the area here. Ahovalam is not far from here, yes? Ahovalam. Yeah? Mahaprabhu wandered through this land. And completed South Indian tour. Took 2 years. And then returned back to Jagannath Puri, and then news was sent with Kala Krishna Das, those 4 persons. Mahaprabhu, they wanted to accompany Mahaprabhu on the South Indian tour after his deliverance of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Nityananda Prabhu was explaining, you hear in Chaitanya Bhagavat, that after leaving Ekachakra, and with that sannyasi, Nityananda Prabhu toured the holy places of India for 20 years. Nityananda Prabhu. All over South India, all the places, Kanyakumari, Madurai, Tirumala, all the places are mentioned. Padmanabha, Srirangam, Rameshwaram, all of these places Nityananda Prabhu visited. And then he said to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that I know all the paths of the holy places in South India. Prema beshe pote tumi hobe ocheton e shob shamigrike kori rakon. On the path, prema beshe hobe tumi pore ocheton, you will fall. Pote prema beshe hobe ocheton, you will fall down unconscious on the path, chanting the holy name. E shob shamigrike kori rakon. Who will look after your cloth, your kamandalu? Who will look after these things when you're lying on the path unconscious? You take me with you. You take me with you. And Goshamda said, you know, that danda, that was my only possession. And as soon as you first chance you got, the first time you got your hand on that, you broke it. So I will travel alone and perform the duties of a sannyasi. He said, you stay here in Jagannath Puri. I will not take you. This Jagadananda is making soft bed for me. He wants me to sleep on comfortable, soft bed, and brings the fragrant oils for massaging me. So how can I perform the sannyas with you guys hanging around, treating me with such opulence? He broke the sannyas danda. Nityananda Prabhu, Abadut, sometimes sannyasi, sometimes grihasta, sometimes no clothes. You're not caring for this sannyas order. But Mahaprabhu is a traveling preaching to deliver South India, to deliver the worshippers of the demigods, and also to enlighten the worshippers of Vaikuntha Nath, Lord Narayan, and bring them to the platform of Krishna Bhakti. Mahaprabhu toured South India. And then returned. So those four devotees were still there in Jagannath Puri. They were waiting for 2 years. And then Mahaprabhu said, you take this Kala Krishna Das, you take him away. I don't want to see him anymore. Kala Krishna Das, you take him away. He's completely devastated. Mahaprabhu don't want to see him anymore. Imagine 2 years. Mahaprabhu's personal assistant. 2 years. We went with Sitaram Prabhu, perhaps you were there also. We went to Kala Krishna Das' place in West Bengal. We went there, his temple. And then Nityananda Prabhu, what to do with this poor fellow? Some seva. We have to inform the devotees in Mayapur, in Navadvip. We have to inform them that Goshundor has returned from the South Indian tour. He's in Puri. They will certainly come. So they sent Krishnadas, Kala Krishna, they sent him to inform Sachimata, Advaita Thakur. And hearing the news, immediately the devotees, they arranged festival. Again, another festival. Before the journey began, there was festival in Shantipur, and then they began, and with Shibananda Sen, they journeyed to Jagannath Puri and arrived. We've discussed that with you on several occasions. I think we discussed it in Puri. Narendra Saroba, They were there, Mahaprabhu met the devotees. And then remained there in Puri for 2 years, always with the desire to go to Vrindavan. But these people were very influential. The king of Puri, his guru, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and Ramananda Roy, who is the governor of Madras, highly posted government official. They were Mahaprabhu's intimate associates, the most influential people in Jagannath Puri. King Prataparudra, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Ramananda Roy. Even now you see Ramananda Roy's quarters. There's this opulence, huge, right on the Grand Road. Such a significant, opposite the palace of the king, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house. These 3 persons, very influential. Without their permission, Mahaprabhu could not leave Jagannath Puri. And they were not giving him the permission. So many excuses they were giving. No. Now is the cold season. You cannot go to Mathura. Now is shortly the devotees again will come from Bengal or Rath Yatra. Rath Yatra, remember? Now is a rainy season. You cannot go. Again, now is the winter. You cannot go. 2 years, and eventually Mahaprabhu said, "Bahut utkanta amar, Vrindavan jaite." Such a strong desire I have to go to Vrindavan. You're not giving me permission. They felt remorseful. Oh. So then they said, okay, on the Bijay Dashami day, they gave him permission. And Mahaprabhu commented that, Gauda Deshe hoi mor dui shamasrai. In Bengal I have 2 shelters. Janani Janabi, dui doyamoy. Sachimata and Ma Ganga. Idui doyamoy. These 2 are full of mercy. So I will go to Bengal, I will go to Vrindavan via Bengal, and I will take the Gauda Bhaktagon, the Navadip Bashis, the Bengali Vaishnavas, I will take them with me to Vrindavan. And Mahaprabhu began his journey, and he has come. So we'll carry on a little later. Now is breakfast time, we won't hold you. And we'll come back here again 11. Take breakfast, come back, and we'll carry on. Mahaprabhu journeying to Kulia, and subsequently what happened we'll describe by the grace of Srila Prabhupada. Shishi Nitai Gaur Sundar ki, Shishi Radha Madhav ki, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki, Shama Beta Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki, Shishi Nitai Gaur Shitanar Pramanandi.